Hi, I'm Sensei Steve here at Classical Martial Arts of Long Island. I want to talk to you today about something that a lot of us here in New York and Long Island, this area around here, well, we kind of live in it. It's competitiveness. I'm not talking about competition. And competition is something that we go into, we compete, we get awards, our school's very competitive in different formats. But I want to talk about competitiveness. Because competitiveness, well, it pervades American society. It pervades society in general, especially anywhere if you live by a big city. Even now with the internet, you can live anywhere and be working in a competitive environment. But it's something we have to grow up around and we have to deal with. So the competitive dynamic that exists in schooling, well, from early on, you have to produce. You got to get your homework done. You got to pass a test. And a lot of times, grading will put you in different tracks in school. And those tracks are established maybe earlier than they should be. I don't know. That's a question for educational scholars to look at. But we do know what happens. We do know early on you're tracked, that your performance is tracked, and you have to keep knocking it out of the park. And that's hard when you're little, hard when you're younger. It doesn't get that much easier when you get older. And when you go to work, you got to do that at your job. You got to do that to work your way up into a higher position. If you're in school, you may have to do that to get a different type of scholarship, a different type of opportunity. You got to push your way forward. As they say, the big dogs don't want to let you in. You got to push your way between them and get in front just like the rest of them. So that competitiveness that drives us here in the US to work so hard, to become successful, to rise up and be the best we can be. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's a little bit of both. Well, traditionally, in the martial arts, those parts are there too, right? We have to drive ourselves to stay healthy. We have to drive ourselves to be able to defend ourselves. We have to drive ourselves to find the self-perfection that makes us better and better. Whether that's in the performance of a certain movement, whether it's in terms of sparring or fighting or grappling or throwing or submission fighting or the performance with a specific traditional weapon, well, that's there. But also what we call the affective filter, which means the stress. Affect is a word for emotion, it means stress. So affective filter means how stressful the event is. Martial arts are a perfect mirror for life. We practice in martial arts, and at first, everything we do, every time a new student does something, we greet them with a certain level of praise. Good job. Great. You did a good job. You stood in that stance. You did that movement. You did that kick. You did that punch. You hit those pads. You did your best. You're sweating. You're working hard. Over time, that praise becomes a little harder to get. Over time, as you work your way up in the ranks and you get better at it, we say, well, that punch was pretty good, but it could be better. It's got to be more refined. That throw was pretty good. You took him off his feet pretty well. But you know what? It wasn't necessarily a scoring throw in the way we wanted you to score. The match would have gone your way better if it was more precise. That performance with the weapon was very nice, but it wasn't exactly the perfect clean cut with the samurai sword. It wasn't exactly the best performance that you could have done. So we have to refine it and refine it. So over time, the praise gets harder to get. The reward keeps moving. That's the same thing in school. When you start off and you're a little kid and you're doing math, well, 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, those are pretty easy. They don't seem easy when you're little, but they are pretty easy, and the teacher praises you even for trying. I don't know, you get to calculus, it's not the same. You don't get the right answer, they don't give you the same thing. Right? So you need to progress, and therefore the reward only comes with greater effort. So you have to, in the martial arts, callous your body. Maybe callous your hands from hitting a pad. Maybe you got to callous your feet from kicking something. You got to callous and strengthen your resolve, your muscles and such. But more importantly, you got to callous your mind. You got to callous your mind to bear the challenge of pushing yourself to higher levels of attainment. You got to bear the challenge of working with a more skilled partner or opponent, depending how you want to phrase it. You have to callous your mind to go into higher levels of competition, and that is a lesson that carries off the mat. You have to callous your mind to be able to say, I lost. Now, what do I learn from that? I didn't succeed. How do I retool? What's my formula for success? And you have to be able to be strong enough, mentally, as well as physically, to then go to your teacher or to the other player and say, what did I do wrong? Well, we teach it on the mat all the time. if you can carry that into your schooling, to fail the math test, turn around, go to the teacher, what did I get wrong? What did I do incorrectly? What did I do correctly? How do I do the incorrect parts correctly next time? Carry that into your workplace. Yeah, I didn't do that presentation correctly. It wasn't that good. I'm sorry to my supervisor. What do I do better? How do I become the person you want me to be? How do I become the person who is the worker who can become the supervisor? That's part of the success. That's the competitiveness, right? As opposed to the competition. The competitiveness to take yourself and make you a better person by giving up the version of you today to become the person of you tomorrow. That's the challenge. And that's something that's been passed down in the martial arts for thousands of years. And that's what we train here at Classical Martial Arts. We train that mindset of learning how to succeed, learning to callous the body, to be able to bear the demands of higher performance, and how to callous the mind to be able to bear the demands of higher performance on and off the mat. So hopefully that was interesting about competitiveness, right? If you want to come down, check us out. We give everybody a free 2-week trial. You can come try our classes, see if you like us, see if you like the people you train with, see if you like the methods. We have a whole host of different methods that we teach, and we'd love to see you on the mat. Have a great day. Thank you.